So today's video is something very different, but it could be something that you'll see more of down the road if you guys find this enjoyable. So basically, me and my friend, who goes by the name of X-Wing on YouTube, really love the Zelda franchise. So we decided to start a reoccurring podcast exclusively dedicated to all things Zelda. I really just picture it being a place where we can share our passion for the series and engage with fellow hardcore fans in the chat. Today's video is some of my favorite segments from our first pod. So again, let me know if you like this type of format, and if so, we can definitely do more moving forward.
I guess if we're talking about the start, is when we should get into our first point, which I can't wait to hear it from the chat too, because that's
yes.
So we're talking about what we love Zelda, but like X-Wing, where did it start for you? What was your first Zelda game?
I remember a time long ago. I was parked in front of a Nintendo 64, plugging in the cartridge of Ocarina of Time. That was my first Legend of Zelda game, Ocarina of Time. And I got to tell you, man, that game was formative in not only just like my youth and my persona and how I view like what kind of person you should be and everything like that, but also absolutely formed the style of storytelling that I've come to enjoy, the type of video games that I've come to enjoy.
For sure.
I am 100% all open world, sword, everything. Like those are my favorite games in the world. And Ocarina of Time, you want to talk about like a banger first one to start with, man. That is a linchpin in the Legend of Zelda legacy.
Yeah, because I know in like current day, it isn't necessarily seen as like the most open world game, because technically there is like a little bit of a linear progression. You go to this temple, then you go to this temple, but still, like you got all this Hyrule in front of you. You got all these different Skulltulas everywhere, all these little tunnels and stuff. I mean, it was when it came out, it was mind blowing. That was awesome. That was a good time. My first Zelda game, my dad was a gamer, so it was the first Zelda game. It was The Legend of Zelda on the NES. And then obviously A Link to the Past soon after that. I guess I was kind of playing those simultaneously, like alongside of each other, because by the time I was old enough to like play the games, probably 1994 is when I like first started playing them.
Yeah.
They were both out at that point. So, but yeah, I loved those two games so much. Going from A Link to the Past to Ocarina of Time was an awesome experience because it blew my mind by how much the world blew up. But there was certain things that disappointed me about Ocarina of Time. It's still like my favorite game ever.
Talk about it.
Because I was coming from Link to the Past, I was just like, man, like I had my own idea of like what Zelda to be heading into that. I still remember like one of the things that happened. So you're young Link, you get the 3 stones, Master Sword, you fly forward in time 7 years, all that. And you come outside of the Temple of Time and you just see that Hyrule's fallen. And it's just like there's the re-deads are just screaming at you and everything. Dude, I was so horrified as a kid. So horrified. And then I expect you walk out and find Ganon's castle. Hyrule Castle is just Ganon's castle. I expect all of Hyrule to be like this. All of Hyrule to be like
right,
the castle.
Right.
Because I had played A Link to the Past and you had the light world and dark world. So I was like, oh, okay, this is the light world, dark world kind of thing. Wow, the whole world. And then you walk out and it just starts the like happy morning theme. And you're just like, wait a minute.
Everywhere else is fine?
He just absolutely destroyed and laid waste to Hyrule Castle and the courtyard, like specifically. But then you get to Kakariko Village and, people are chilling. You still got, the construction dudes just running around and all
plugging along. Yeah.
Everything's fine. Yeah. That was one of like the few areas where I was just like,
what's funny? I've never even thought of that.
Yeah, really.
Never even occurred to me. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know if I would have thought of it if I hadn't gone through A Link to the Past first and kind of had that expectation of like drawing those parallels between the dark world and light world. So yeah, but with that being said, I mean, I'm kind of nitpicking here. Like Ocarina of Time's just arguably the GOAT in a lot of people's minds. You kind of had to have been there. Yeah, you kind of had to have been there to really appreciate like what it was at the time. Because I know some people look back at it and it's just like it's an eyesore with its jagged edges and everything. It's like if you don't understand like how good it looked and 1998, you're just not going to appreciate it,
Yeah, the idea of just like walking out somewhere and that theme starts, and it's like the field's open, and you're like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And the game's just like, figure it out, I don't know.
Yes. Yes.
Like, what?
That is one thing that's like, I guess, just frustrated me about like more modern Zelda games, but just gaming in general is just like, let me figure it out, because like you get one little hint if you take a little while from Navi. She'll go, hey, listen, she'll give you a little tip or something. But now it's like, here's your exact pointer, here's your trail to get there, and
here's your objective marker. A pair of binoculars for you to mark where you need to go. You're like, what?
Yeah. Is it, am I crazy to say I kind of miss feeling stuck in video games? Like,
I was going to say that is one thing that like, and I enjoyed it, like playing Ocarina of Time, where you're like, I have no idea what to do. I have no idea what to do. I've tried 1,000 things. Nothing is working. And then randomly you throw a Deku nut somewhere and a ladder drops down. You're like, how was I supposed to figure that out?
Do you remember a specific spot like where you were stuck for a while?
100%. It was inside the Deku tree when you have to use your slingshot to drop the ladder to get back out of that room.
Yeah.
I was there. And the funniest part was, so there's a guy named Kryzen who's doing an updated Unreal Engine 4 or 5 version of Ocarina of Time, which I'll share a little bit of it. I did it back when I had a gaming channel. I was playing it, and you will never guess where I got stuck again. I got stuck in that same stupid room for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, well, how do I not I've played this game 47 times. How do I not remember? Yeah. Speaking of remakes, do you believe the hype that we're going to get an Ocarina of Time remake? Earnestly, in your soul.
I don't. Not yet. I think there's. It's a little bit of hype right now. It's not like a ton of hype. It's not like there's really credible, huge leakers talking about it yet. There's just a little rumors and stuff. I will say there's a little bit of evidence to give us reason, like, to think that it might be happening. But I'm talking small details, like on Nintendo's official Twitter account, or X account, whatever. They just put out original art for Ocarina of Time. So it's like, why are you doing that? They released a Lego set for Breath of the Wild and for Ocarina of Time recently. Why are you doing that?
Do you know what the Lego set? I didn't see the Lego set.
It was the Great Deku Tree. And,
really?
It's sick, dude. It's really cool. I think it's very expensive, like most. Yeah, like most Lego sets.
$250 or something.
It might be more than that, to be honest, because it's a big tree. But it's beautiful. If you look it up, it's super cool.
I'm going to.
But yeah, there's just a lot of small things that are kind of feel like maybe this is leading to. Some people are speculating even the casting of the movie, because there is an age gap between the actress that plays Zelda and the actor who plays Link. Right. And so some people are thinking, well, maybe there's some sort of time jump where he grows into the role, or follow Ocarina of Time. I don't really buy that one, but as far as the merchandising and the images they're putting out there, I'm like, they are giving Ocarina a lot of love lately. So I don't know, but beyond the rumors, like, would you want that? Would you want a remake?
No. It's hard because I'm perfectly happy with Ocarina of Time on the Nintendo 64. I'm happy with it on an emulator on my computer. You know what I mean? I'm happy with it on the Switch. Those are all great to me. I can understand why somebody who didn't grow up with it would want a remake. And so I don't hate it for that. But I would much rather have them spend their time creating another project, a new project. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't feel like traditional Zelda games with like traditional items, with the hook shot, with your boomerang, with your, whatever, your hammer, like go on and on with the items on top of your traditional structured dungeons. I don't feel like that's making a comeback anytime soon, because Nintendo always follows the money, and Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom sold like crazy. Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, I don't think Tears of the Kingdom, like, there was even one of their quarterly sales, which was really weird. After Tears of the Kingdom came out, it was like a year after it came out, where Breath of the Wild sold better than Tears of the Kingdom. And it's like, that's
Really?
not supposed to happen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I made a video about it and everything. And so I don't know if Tears of the Kingdom is actually hanging on to the momentum, because people were acting like that game dropped off. Beardo, who was in the chat, was saying, doesn't it feel like this game fell off? Like, it was like big for a while, and then it just didn't seem to hang on to the momentum as much. And a lot of people were actually disappointed with it.
Yeah.
So I think the next Zelda game is really going to tell us a lot. Is it going to, if they stick with the Breath of the Wild style, how much are people still into this specific style of Breath of the Wild? Because, of course, the sequel following up Breath of the Wild is going to sell like crazy. And I did enjoy Tears of the Kingdom, but there was some ways where it definitely disappointed me.
Dude, you want to talk about disappointing? How about spending God knows how many hours 100%ing the deep, and then all you get is a stupid coin? They're like, good job, moron. Thanks for wasting your time. Here's a coin that does absolutely nothing.
To be fair, that's pretty in line with the history of Zelda. I mean, did you ever get all 100 gold Skulltulas in Ocarina of Time?
100%, dude. Yeah, you got to free all the little freaks in Kakariko.
Well, yeah, but then you get a gold rupee after there's nothing left in the game to buy. Yeah. You know, you can keep getting a gold rupee over and over again, but it's useless to you because you beat the game and literally just completely done everything. So why do you
I would have at least thought we would have gotten, because they had like the armor of the deep or whatever with all the light bulbs all over it.
Yeah, the depths. Yeah.
I was hoping to, you know, at least get something really cool to like continue exploring it, but it was just a coin, nothing. It was it was like Miki's coin. It does nothing. I was frustrated, but
yeah. It's very weird. Nintendo doesn't seem to like the idea of being a completionist. Part of the, like, I remember when they were explaining it with the Korok seeds, like, they don't necessarily want people to be killing themselves over trying to find every single Korok. It's more just like something you're meant to find and enjoy along your journey, but it's never meant to be the journey. So that's their view on it. I still think it's a little bit harsh to give me a golden turd as my reward for getting all 900 Korok.
Literally a piece of poop.
Yes.
It's a turd. Yeah.
It's Hestu's gift, and it's a golden swirly turd. Yeah.
It's a turd. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody in Japan was just like, oh, they're going to be so mad, bro.
Yeah.
So like the question begs, you know, because the whole Wild series was a huge departure from traditional Zelda. We had item integrity, which a lot of people had complaints. I was one of them when it came to item integrity. I understand that it adds an element of suspense and preparation and stuff like that. I totally get it. And then obviously you have the Ultra Hand and building all kinds of stuff and gluing things together. What was your initial, when you first walked into like Breath of the Wild, were you like shocked and irritated, or was it just something new and you were happy to try it?
I loved Breath of the Wild. I was more open to Breath of the Wild because Zelda games are not opposed to getting gimmicky. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, like even Skyward Sword, it was very different, you know, when it came out. And like, or Twilight Princess, Link's a wolf now. Like, Majora's Mask, I'm literally fighting against time. Like, how suspenseful is this? You know, like there's been Zelda game after Zelda game where you could go, this isn't like the Zelda I know, you know? So getting Breath of the Wild, I was like, okay, we got shrines and not so much like traditional dungeons. That kind of sucks, but I'll accept it for this one-off Zelda game. And all right, like items kind of break and that sort of thing, but I'll accept it for this one Zelda game. And I just like the world was beautiful. I thought the divine beasts were great. I loved the memories and like Link regaining his memories. What I didn't enjoy, when I really started getting frustrated with it, was with Tears of the Kingdom, because it felt like there was just like a whole lot of copy and pasting. In the sense 100%. That like even like now it's the tears, which are the memories, which work the exact same way. So you know what you're getting as you beat each quote temple, you know, and like the spirit temple was like a boxing match and that's it. Like it didn't feel like there was actually any puzzle solving. You know, you have to do this long journey to get to it. And so that was the point where I was like, all right, so now like between the release of these two games and waiting since Skyward Sword for these two games, you're looking at what, a total of like 11, 12 years in total. And so that was a point where I think some of the frustration came in, where I'm like, okay, I really want traditional like dungeons back. I'm a little getting a little weary of this setup and this model, because you'll accept it for a one-off, but I have hope that they're going to make a little bit of a return to that traditional format, because based on what I've heard from AG Enuma, it just sounds like when they made Breath of the Wild, it was almost like they weren't satisfied. Like they knew they could get more out of this game, and that's why they did Tears of the Kingdom, because they wanted to push its limits. So you had the Sky Islands, you had the depths, you had the creative aspect, you had the ascendability. Like they really pushed it to its limit. Like if Nintendo was able to do traditional Zelda and open world Breath of the Wild style Zelda simultaneously, literally just have two teams.
It's not that hard.
Teams. Like if they did that, everyone is happy. Literally, everyone's happy. Like, because I wouldn't be upset to see another Breath of the Wild style game. I'd be like, I'm getting my, Twilight Princess style game. I'm happy.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. I just wish they'd embrace that a little bit more. I think they tried in some way with Tears of the Kingdom, but my theory is like, you can't, like, my biggest complaint has always been the dungeons. I feel like the dungeons leading up to Breath of the Wild had always been traditionally half of the game.
Right.
Like, half of the game is open world exploring freedom. And then it turns into isolation, puzzle solving, like even like claustrophobic, but like in a cool way. Like, and it's that yin and yang. It's that they complement each other. But Breath of the Wild was just all of one thing, And so I'm hungering for that again. I'm thirsting for that. But with Tears of the Kingdom, I just think that was impossible for them to have, even though they like kind of tried it with these temples. They even called them the water temple, the fire temple, because basically it just comes to the fact that Link's too powerful for a traditional style dungeon. If you play Twilight Princess or Ocarina of Time, you'll see a ledge that's 10 feet high, and you'll spend the next 30 minutes trying to figure out, how do I get up this ledge 10 feet high? When you're playing in Tears of the Kingdom, there's 2.5 million ways to get up there. You can climb it, you can bomb jump up it,
do whatever you want.
Build an aircraft and float up there. You can get underneath it and ascend up through it. Like there's just, you have so much freedom to the point that it doesn't really feel like a puzzle anymore. It doesn't feel like a dungeon, because there's no real challenge there.
I just feel like there's an easy fix with that. Like in these ancient places, whatever, your Ultra Hand doesn't work.
Yeah,
it's guarded with a magical barrier.
They'll call that bad design. I've heard people call that bad game design, where they reward you with a new ability and then they're going to take it away from you. Some games do that though. I mean, like for a while you don't have your sword, and now you got to go stealth mission. And so I don't know. I would be for that instead, but I just almost hope they just dial it back a little bit. They have said, AG Enuma did say they're done with Ultra Hand, and Ultra Hand was like the real game changer, where it's like, you can just build whatever you want and basically accomplish anything with it. And so with that now gone, maybe we're being reduced a little bit to where we can kind of get back to that traditional feeling a little bit more, but we'll see.
I think that was one. So like when it came to Ultra Hand, I basically tried to play the game without using that, like as much as humanly possible. I know a lot of people went crazy, like the Lego builders were making monoliths that shoot lasers and like just some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen in my life. I just tried my best not to use it whenever possible. The power I liked was punching through the ceiling. But I'm hoping for the next one. I don't know. I feel like they're going to pull something out of their butt that none of us see coming. You know what I mean? I enjoy the idea of going back to an Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask style, like not linear, but God, what even is traditional for Legend of Zelda? I guess that's it, right? You get 3 things, fight a boss, find out you have to do a whole bunch more stuff, and then
I would say it boils down to
event.
I would say it boils down to 3 things for me, at least. Like traditional Zelda to me is, Link looks like Link. Like, are we ever going to get his tunic back, his iconic tunic? I even have questions of if that's what he's going to wear in the movie. Because if he doesn't have that in the movie, I'm like, come on, man, that's been the iconic image of Link forever. That has to at least be there at one point, his iconic tunic. And so Link's got to look like Link. There's got to be traditional style dungeons and familiar items, that don't break. Like, because I mean, in almost every game there was like, since like Link to the Past. There's always been a hook shot, you know, long shot,
Right.
claw shot, whatever you want to call it. Change the name several times, but there's always been one of those. And now, like, you don't have that. Now you're just like using Rivali's Gale or something like that, you know.
Yeah,
instead.
over and over and over, and then you wind up sitting there watching the top right of the screen, waiting for Rivali's Gale to finally charge back up so you can keep going.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Boom. Let's take a look at the timeline really quick.
Totally not convoluted at all.
Not even a little bit. So it starts out great. You're like, all right, Skyward, Minish, Four Swords, Ocarina, and that's Ocarina of Time, because this is why you don't do time travel, folks. Everything explodes after Ocarina of Time. So you have a timeline where the hero's defeated, you have a timeline where the hero's successful, and then you have a timeline where Ganondorf is sealed, and he does he go back as an adult? Is that the hero of Wind in the New World?
Yeah, so like just think about how Ocarina of Time ends. You know,
Yeah.
you have the loser one, which is the one that goes to the left. So Link
Right.
lost, which is depressing.
And this is like, I feel like this is where they dumped all the old games, basically.
right, basically.
Yeah.
And then in the situation where Link wins, remember, Zelda plays the Ocarina of Time and sends Link back to the childhood timeline. So
Yep.
now there is a child Link in that timeline, and that's a continuation of that story. That's where you get like
Go to
Majora's
the
Mask.
Majoras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in that other timeline, now it doesn't have a Link, and there's a Link that has to come in the future. You know, he'll be the new
Right.
hero. So that's where it splits into the two timelines. And then they just added the third one, and Link takes an L apparently, and Ganondorf
Yeah.
wins.
They're
That's
like, God, where do we put these
horribly
games?
depressing.
Like, I don't know if you imagine if when it said game over, you just put the game away. That's that timeline.
That's
If you died once and just
depressing.
threw the game away, that's it.
Did you ever hear about, I mean, just piggybacking off of that, did you ever hear about the game Retro Studios was making? So the guys who made Donkey Kong Returns, they made Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and then obviously the Metroid Prime game. So that same studio, they were going to do a Zelda game, but ultimately it got canceled, and I'm so sad it got canceled because what it was going to be was you were going to play as Sheik, so Zelda going into hiding as Sheik immediately after the Fallen Hero timeline.
Really?
It was set up like if you look it up, you can find art. Like you could find concept art around that game, and it was set up to be like the most dark kind of.
I was going to say Dark Hyrule,
survivalist like Zelda game we've ever seen. Like the mature tones in that, it would have been intense, man. And the fact that that didn't have retro so good about like world building and like because they've done so good with Metroid Prime. Like if you haven't learned about the Metroid Prime story, first of all, go watch my videos. But you'll learn about it. So good, so good.
That would have been incredible, man. That's a Zelda game I can get behind. You know what I mean? I haven't played the new Zelda game. And I say Zelda game because these games should be Link games, right? I haven't played the new Zelda game yet.
Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah.
And I did really like it though. I
did you?
It. I really
it's
like it.
It's on Switch, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's on the Switch, and it's the same engine that they used to create the remaster of Link's Awakening, which was also fantastic. And so, it was really good. It was different, but I tell you what, if you've been, hungry for a return to traditional dungeons, you got that with Echoes of Wisdom. Like Grayzo, the third-party studio, they handled it. They did an awesome job with that, man. It was really nice.
Wicked. Okay, I might have to go play that then. So we have essentially these three timelines that split up that made up basically the canon. And then Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom show up, and they're just like, it's not really part of that. You're like, what? And they're like, yeah, it's not really, it's so far in the future that don't even worry about it. Like, okay.
Yeah, we don't know exactly how far in the future. It's rumored to be like something like 10,000 years. Like,
right.
Basically, it's so far in the future that anything can make sense if they want it to be, like through just like evolution and all that sort of thing, and rejoining of timelines and all kinds of Zelda and Link adventures along the way.
Except Lon Lon Ranch looks exactly the same as it did 10,000 years ago. Just needs a little bit of a facelift. That's
right. And so, but I mean, the reason why they do that, and I'd be interested to hear your opinions on this. My wife hates this, but Eiji Aonuma talked about like when they go into a Zelda game, they don't first come up with the story and then build a game based off of that. They figure out the kind of game they want to build. So they were looking at Tears of the Kingdom and they're like, we want a sky island. We want depths. We want you to be able to create things and all that. And then they write a story around that. And it kind of makes sense when you hear it that way, why everything is so freaking convoluted. Because they're like, now how do we make all this work? Like, you know,
that was like Midna was not even a thing. They had Link running around as Wolf Link, and they're like, that doesn't look interesting enough. Like, we got to put something on his back to make it more dynamic. Yep. That's how Midna was born. Like, it wasn't even a part of the thing. So that's kind of funny.
It happened because Midna's awesome. But But yeah, so I mean, but again, one of the reasons they did that is because in, you know, Breath of the Wild, you have the Rito, and you have the Zoras, but canonically, those do not exist simultaneously because the Zoras evolve into the Rito. Yeah, and so if you have them both in the same timeline, you're all like, all right, already Breath of the Wild doesn't make sense. And so they're like, let's just remove it by like 10,000 years. And there is actually an updated version of this timeline. If you find the image, it's probably like a really low quality image, but it's like shows the whole Zelda timeline with all the games. And then off in the corner, just like completely separate, is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom way in the future where we just do whatever we want.
And beyond that, it created another timeline. Tears of the Kingdom actually creates another time. Apparently, I don't know if this is true, but when Zelda goes back to the Beningi, that creates another separate timeline to the side of Skyward Sword.
Right. And see, that was the other thing that I just, oh my gosh, the disappointment with Tears I love certain things about Tears of the Kingdom. I did. I could go on about a lot of the things I loved. The descent into hell to fight Ganondorf. Right. The climb to the Wind Temple was one of the best experiences I've ever had in gaming. That was
badass.
That was so, and the music, oh my God. But one of the things I hated was when those cutscenes started and I was like, holy crap, they made the sequel to Breath of the Wild an origin story. We're getting an origin story. Well, and I am someone who am always preaching, like, Skyward Sword's way too hated on. I think that
I agree. It gets so much hate, but it's incredible.
I get with the Wii Wiimote, it was awkward. I even get that using a stick, you know, the joystick to like swing your sword and everything. It's weird. There's an adjustment period, but the game itself, it's beautiful, man. It's like, it's got a wonderful story. I really love the way they set up Link and Zelda in that one. Like, I've never cared as much about Zelda as I did in that one because the character development in the beginning is so good. The music, the lore's great.
It's a pillar. Yeah.
It arguably has the best music of any Zelda game. I mean, you can make an argument for a lot of games, but it's right there. So that game, I've said forever, that game is S tier Zelda game. If I had one complaint is that, like, maybe it's just like, I got a couple complaints, but one of my major ones is like, maybe it's just a little too cozy sometimes. Like, it's so cozy that it kind of lacks in like the depth and gravity and grit of like most Zelda games. Yeah. The only thing that was like close to that is like, man, that Spirit Realm where you have to like run around and collect the tears is like, it's terrifying. That is scary, dude. When they start chasing you and everything. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if you like get touched, you're dead. You're like, start back over. Yeah. For me, like, Skyward Sword is absolutely and hot take here, sorry, but it's in like my top 3 of all time for sure.
Yeah.
The to your point, the music in that game, like the Gate of Time, I actually put on like when I'm working consistently. And now that we're all the way back, we're talking about Skyward Sword. We just got the Nintendo Direct, and our next game that we're getting out of the Zelda franchise is, I guess you call it a second party. It's a third party game, but it's kind of second party because it's also part of the Nintendo franchise.
Yeah, so basically they did their partner showcases is where they have like basically parties outside of Nintendo making games and releasing it for the Switch. But sometimes it works where they have like a third-party developer work hand in hand for one of their typically first-party titles. That's what happened with Echoes of Wisdom. It was Grayzo that handled it, not just Nintendo. It was Grayzo, the studio. And now with, this latest Hyrule Warriors game, which is Hyrule Warriors 3, but it's also like the first Hyrule Warriors game that's actually canon.
Right.
which
That's
is
the weird part. So Calamity was not canon. The original Hyrule Warriors is not canon. Sorry if I start roboting. I'm getting a internet dip here. But yeah, this is the only one that actually has any potential impact on the story.
Which is interesting. The first Hyrule Warriors was kind of just this celebration of all the Zelda games,
Yeah.
leading up to that. And then Calamity wasn't even consistent at times with the story of Breath of the Wild. So it was more like a what if scenario leading up to it. And this one, no, just straight up, they're telling you want to find out what happened while Zelda was with Raru, in the in-between sections. This is it.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to ask. This is not the ancient battle. So this is not before Skyward Sword with the original first ancient battle with Demise. This is after, but before Skyward Sword. So I don't know how this is all going to play out. I'm excited for it that it is canonical because it gives me a reason to play it, if that makes sense.
For sure.
The other one, the other ones were basically Dynasty Warriors with a Legend of Zelda skin on it, which is fine. I had fun with it. You know what I mean?
Are you a Ninja Gaiden fan?
I've never played them.
Oh my God, they're so good. But yeah, that's what it felt like to me, was just Ninja Gaiden meets Zelda, because I was like, the women are hotter than ever. Their boobs are big. Like the noises they're making, the art style, the how quickly everybody runs like a ninja. Even I'm just like, this is Ninja Gaiden meets. That's just Team Ninja basically, and they were involved in the first one, and it was I loved it. Because I knew going in it was something different, so I was happy to have something different. So we'll see. I hope it tries to. This one will try to tie up some of the loose ends and try to make sense of some of the questions that we had after Tears of the Kingdom. Because I had a lot, man. I was going in thinking, okay, I'm getting a sequel to Breath of the Wild. And I was like, okay, origin story. And the other thing that was weird about Tears of the Kingdom was, man, there were so many people, so many NPCs I was talking to. I'm like, why are they acting like we've never met before? I was just playing Breath of the Wild and we did so much together. Why are you acting like you don't know me?
Do you not remember?
Yeah, it's so weird. So weird.
But this Age of Imprisonment has a little Easter egg at the end of it. I'm going to play it. I'll see if chat can pick it up here. Boom, that right there. If anybody who's a fan of Skyward Sword remembers, that's a very familiar character's theme.
Yes.
And so now, the speculation begins, right? Why are they playing that right here? Is this going to talk about how Hyrule was sent into the sky? Is this the beginning of... I always called her Fi, but I guess her name's Fi.
Yeah, technically it's Fi. Yeah, the pronunciation with the Japanese word, that would be Fi. Yep.
But... is this the first iteration of Fi? Is this them creating Fi or putting it in a body or what? What does it mean?
I'm not surprised that they're going this route, because they hinted at Fi multiple times in the last two games. With Breath of the Wild, after Link had presumably passed, and he goes into his 100 years of sleep, the sword starts glowing.
The sword talks.
And it communicates with Zelda.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, so Fi's talking to Zelda. She's trying to let her know that he's still alive,
She even mentions it. She says, legends say that there is an ancient voice in the sword or something like that.
Yeah.
In one of the memories.
And then in Tears of the Kingdom, when Link gets the sword, it's right when you're about to take the plunge into into Hyrule, basically off of the sky. He passes the sword through time, and for a split second, they also play a little slow remix version of Fi's theme. And so they've been flirting with this for a while. They definitely whoever, the team that's developing the Breath of the Wild style games, they like Fi. We know that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see where they go with that.
But I mean, this, God, now this sets the mind ablaze with possibility. If they mess with Fi, this would then technically tie into Skyward Sword and create a loop, a canonical loop, tying in the loose end.
As long as they make sense of it, I'm okay with that. I mean, listen, if they break it off into kind of like a multiverse, which you can argue that they already kind of have,
Yeah.
doesn't that just give them more freedom to do whatever they want? Which Eiji Aonuma kind of made it seem like that's all they want anyway. Like, yes,
I'm pretty okay with that.
They want stuff to kind of make sense with the story. Like, they do want that. They want to keep putting out Hyrule Historia and the timeline and stuff if they didn't care at all. So they do care to a certain extent. But he's also made it very clear in interviews, the priority is not the story. It's building a good game and then building the story around that.
Yeah.
And if you have like split timelines and like a multiverse type thing, it just allows you to do more things.
Marvel does it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they couldn't.
Yeah.
And that's the absolutely beautiful thing about this is it could go absolutely anywhere. This could go anywhere.
But that's the thing, unlike Marvel, is it's almost kind of works for Zelda because Zelda is just a bunch of different reincarnations of Link and Zelda. You know, it's just a goddess Hylia over and over again. You know,
as old as time, man. Yin and yang.
And the spirit of the hero over and over again. So you can more readily accept a different iteration of Link. That's the reason I hated Wind Waker when it came out so much. I was on that camp that just hated that game. Yeah. Because what I wanted was more Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, that mature tone. Then they showed us that promo of like what the Nintendo GameCube is capable of. And it just looked like Twilight Princess, kind of. It looked like Ocarina of Time meets Twilight Princess with their demo. And then they're like, surprise, Wind Waker. It's all cute. This is going to go on your, this is going to go on your lunchbox looking GameCube, you know? And it was like, and in my mind at that time, someone who didn't understand the timeline and the lore and the universe, I was just like, look how you massacred my boy. This is like Link. This is what my boy. Yeah, this is who Link is now. This bug-eyed freak. But now that I know in hindsight, no, it's just one iteration of Link. You know, it works. It's fine. So I think that's the freedom that Zelda has, unlike something like Marvel.
Yeah, and I don't mind the changes. You know what I mean? What I'm afraid of now, hopefully, is that they're not going to create a world. And then we get 3 games in that world. And then they create another world. And we get 3 games in that world. I hope they do keep changing it up. I guess you could argue, I know it's Termina as opposed to Hyrule, but that sort of happened in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. The game felt similar-ish. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
But what was nice about that is it took 2 years. You know, it was 1998 and 2000. Now we're getting 6-year splits, you know? And so it's like, you know, there's only so many 6-year waits I can make before I'm dead, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm running out of time here.
So I want my traditional Zelda, like, come back. That's why I want multiple parties, is because these take a lot of time, man. These take a lot of time to make. And, you know, we ain't got, like, time is limited. So
maybe I will be happy if they just do that then. Yeah, if they can just pump out more games, it's fine if it's the same world. I take it back.
I mean, that's technically what they're doing with Hyrule Warriors. It's a different team making a totally different game. Why not? Why not?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to give you a very easy question. Chat, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Favorite moment in all of Legend of Zelda?
That's easy.
Yeah, super easy. Super easy.
That's way too hard. It's like you could like break them up by like sections, you know. It's like
100%.
What was the favorite time I was scared? What was the favorite
you gotta pick one though. Yeah. No, this is all time. I mean, I put this post out 4 hours ago. If you need some time to think about it, we can read through some of the other entries.
Do it. I would love that.
Okay. So we'll start here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. From Fifth Down Sports says, favorite Zelda moments are too many to list, but my favorite moment comes from the least popular game, and that was the shadow fight in Adventures of Link. It was iconic and is what made Adventures of Link stand out in its time.
Did you get there without a Game Genie? Because, man, that game.
It's tough.
It's so tough. There is a way to cheese that fight, though. If you go to the bottom left of the screen and just squat and stab over and over again.
No cheesing.
Yeah, that's you'll take out Dark Link in a matter of minutes.
Yeah. Jesse up here, but I'm going to go down to this one first because I think this one was first. Jesse says, any moment when Link is taking the Master Sword for the first time. I remember Ocarina of Time with the background music inside the Temple of Time. Great memories.
Yes.
You remember just how ethereal the Temple of Time felt the first time you walk in.
Yeah.
And you hear the chanting. I was like, oh,
good.
God, this is cool.
I think that was the thing that like Ocarina of Time did better than any Zelda is the epic scale. Like even that theme, but also like the Great Deku Tree. Like the right to start the game, like dun, na, 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 na. It's like, wow. This is epic. It's epic. And then it starts the Kokiri Forest and everything. You're like, oh, okay, this is fun. Like it was it was a Hobbit to Mountain Doom type story where it like starts out like innocent, but there's still an epic adventure. It's so great. So great.
Yeah, that was a classic intro. All of the stuff, especially like when you turn into Adult Link and you get your teleportation songs, all of those slap so hard, dude. Yeah. The Bolero Fire, Serenade of Water, those two just like stand out to me as some of like the most incredible. Yeah, I just freaking love them.
I personally think the most epic, though. Sorry, just the most epic for me moment where you get the sword. I thought it was actually Link to the Past.
Really?
Yeah, like the build up to that was so good because you get like the 3 pendants and you have to go into, you know, the Lost Woods. And then you're picking up a fake sword and a fake sword and a fake sword that you think is a magic sword till eventually you get this long hallway through the forest and you get these little animals running by as you lead up to it. You grab the book to translate it and then you pick it up, you see the 3 pendants and it's like plays the epic theme. It was like that, like Link to the Past set the tone for so many Zelda games after it. It was so good. So good.
I was kind of maybe this is a hot take. I was kind of let down by the Master Sword retrieval in Breath of the Wild. Because it was like, you know, the journey to it was super cool through Lost Woods. I liked going through Lost Woods, but then you finally get there. And I think when I found it the first time, I already had the hearts required.
Sure.
And so I was like, oh my God, there it is. And my heart started running down and then he picks it up and it's like, good job. And I'm like,
I think that's what's kind of brutal about like a lot of the modern Zelda games is because people are going through at different paces. Sometimes it doesn't have the proper lead up because you did things out of order. Like that's not how I experienced it. I went and figured out my way through the Lost Woods and all that. And then I was like, crap, I don't have enough hearts. Like, you know? And so now, like, I have to go get
have a montage.
And then exactly. And then when I get back there and do it, it felt earned. And so I totally get what you're saying. I get why it didn't feel as satisfying.
I didn't know any of that stuff was there, obviously, because I like to do the same thing. I go 100% dark. And so I saw that stuff up there. And when you walk in, you're like, oh, this is their take on the Lost Woods. Awesome. And then when it opened to the forest, that was like almost got misty. I'm like, oh my God, it's a great Deku Tree. It's just like psyched out of my mind. And I'm like, oh my God, there's the Master Sword. Yeah. Freddie Yankoba says the first introduction to Hyrule Field in Ocarina of Time. Yes. That was epic for me. Also, when you have to catch those silly chickens in Kakariko, fun times. Those chickens. I think everybody went nuclear on the chickens and then found out. I love that they added that to the game. The chicken mob in Kakariko.
Yep.
Noble Spitfire, what's up? Says intro to Wind Waker with its iconic retelling of OOT is great. Putting on the fierce deity mask for the first time, all the comedic moments in OOT, escaping out of Lon Lon Ranch with Epona. There are so many good moments. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, have you come up with your answer?
I hate just like I'm trying not to talk about the same freaking Zelda game over and over again, but like I think it's Ocarina, dude. I think the final boss fight. I think when Ganon, the castle collapses on him, and then he goes in beast mode and like goes in beast mode, and then the music just like swells at just the right time, and Navi's like, "I'm not leaving your side," and he's just rah, let's get into it. It's so good. It's so good. And like the lightning and the ring of fire and everything. And it's like so dark and like dramatic that you almost like can't even see what's going on. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, that was the boss fight that defined a generation. Absolutely.